Welcome to Wednesday night's viewing on TV1, where Fair Go follows Holmes. Telly Bingo's along at 8 before Taggart at 8:35. Devil's Advocate.
Together we're one.
Good evening, New Zealand. Leading your news hour, the latest on the killer rabbit virus outbreak and efforts to contain it. We have complete team coverage.
Also, meet the mystery baby at the centre of an alleged child smuggling ring.
And in sport, the heat goes on the Rugby Union over alleged foul play.
Yeah, it's a pity that it possibly wasn't released in another couple of months' time while there was more little insects getting around in the spring, and so the timing might have been, but who gives a bugger? It's in the country, and let's enjoy it while it's here and make the most of it.
A delighted reaction from one South Island farmer over the outbreak of the killer rabbit virus.
But while many rabbit plague farmers may be happy, authorities are battling to contain the virus, a battle that now takes in both the North and South Islands. Although confirmed RCD contamination remains confined to the Cromwell area of the South Island's high country, checks are now underway in Wairarapa and Waikato as a precaution. And test results are yet to come back about possible contamination in Twizel and Maniatoto. Hamish Clark begins our team coverage and reports a full police criminal investigation is now part of the battle against the rabbit killer disease.
An airborne effort to track the rabbit killer RCD's progress in central Otago. Today's targets the Ida Valley and Lindis Pass areas near Cromwell.
We're just not seeing the numbers in places where we know there is high populations, so we're presuming that there's rabbits dying down holes as well.
Good afternoon, sir. Have you got any rabbits?
On the ground, police and MAF man roadblocks, checking cars leaving the quarantine area. Their job to stop dead rabbits being taken out of the area, at least preventing people from spreading the disease. This morning, all of the rabbits handed in had been shot by night shooters hunting in the restricted area.
They realised after seeing the news broadcast that they perhaps shouldn't use the rabbits and should get them to us for disposal.
While many here are trying to contain the spread of the virus, MAF and police this afternoon launched an investigation into how the disease got into central Otago.
Well, at this stage we're working with MAF. It's actually their investigation, but obviously the police are here with troops on the ground. It's our job to assist them in an investigation to identify if the virus was illegally planted, who did it.
This afternoon, MAF disposed of dozens of rabbits collected at the roadblocks and from farms in the quarantine area. They were sprayed with an antivirus chemical and buried a metre underground.
Well, I think we'll get the public on our side. Which is going to be a hard thing, but it will be good. We can get them at the roadblocks and they declare any rabbit material they have with them, which we'll then take and destroy, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
New restrictions were imposed on the area this afternoon. Police established a no-fly zone covering a 10 nautical mile radius centred on Cromwell's airstrip. Hamish Clark, One Network News.
Meanwhile, the government's keeping a close eye on the spread of the virus.
Obviously, I don't condone a breach of the law at all, and what's more, if it's found who has breached the law, then they can expect to suffer the consequences of that. But what we've got to now face up to is the fact the virus is here, and if it's not going to spread, then it's no problem. But if it is spreading, we need to be able to utilise the virus, because that was one of the main reasons for not bringing it in.
And Lachlan Smith was due in Cromwell to assess the situation within the past hour. The outbreak has now focused attention on 5 farms quarantined near Cromwell, and in particular Donald and Sally Young's Lowburn property. John McDermott has this report from the Youngs farm.
Rabbit calicivirus disease in action. The dead rabbits are on one of the 5 closed-off farms at Lowburn, the first to have RCD positively identified.
I was pretty much bowled over with knowing the implications and locking the place up, and the world attention centred on here, which I was a wee bit irked about.
Donald Young has no idea how the virus reached his place. He was planning to kill rabbits today with 1080 poison.
It's staggering just to see the rabbits lying around like this. It's just as if it had been 1080 poisoned.
MAF certainly won't have any problems finding dead rabbits to test. Lying around in this Lowburn property, there are dozens and dozens dead in the paddocks. It seems certain the virus is also present in nearby areas.
I've been suspicious for the last 5 days that we have had rabbits dying there as well. And it wasn't until I saw these rabbits yesterday on Lowburn that I suddenly realised that what it could be. So I will be notifying the authorities today.
Most high country farming families are privately expressing relief that it's happened.
I'd like to see it properly managed so that as it's here, and if it is as widespread as we gather from the media, it's properly managed so it's not wasted.
MAF says just because RCD's found on a farm doesn't implicate the owner, as viruses like RCD can be spread many ways.
They could have been brought in with just rabbit livers, then minced up and mixed with bait, and maybe even multiplied up, killed more rabbits and then spread it further.
It's now unlikely any other farms in the Cromwell area will be quarantined. John McDermott, One Network News.
Tissue from suspect rabbits is being tested at the Wallaceville Research Centre in Upper Hutt. The laboratory is under strict quarantine. Only rabbits from the Cromwell area have been tested so far. And so far, all results have shown traces of the RCD virus.
And as we've reported, Twizel is one of several areas awaiting tests to confirm just how far RCD is spread. Kate Hurd reports from the Mackenzie Basin, an area in waiting.
They've been battling rabbits for years here. The Mackenzie Basin inland from Timaru has a rabbit problem, second only to that in central Otago. Yesterday, rabbits from this area were sent to the Ministry of Agriculture for testing. Farmers are clear on which way they want the result to go.
It was the best news that we ever had last night in watching TV. It was probably the best night's sleep I've had for years.
For many farmers here, the rabbit has become the symbol of their demise. Many properties are on the market. There are few buyers.
I've had high blood pressure for probably 3 or 4 years now, and that makes a difference. Even today I feel happier because we've got another tool to use, and by golly we'll use it if we get hold of it.
Farmers' only complaints about the RCD release here are that many are in the throes of a fresh poisoning program and say the timing isn't great. It's still too cold, the farmers say, for the virus to move quickly enough.
It's a pity that it possibly wasn't released in another couple of months' time while there was more little insects getting around in the spring. But who gives a bugger? It's in the country, and let's enjoy it while it's here.
They say the challenge now is for RCD to be managed to maximise its effect. Kate Hurd, One Network News.
Meanwhile, thousands of RCD vaccines are being rushed to veterinarians around the country. Vets say they've been inundated with calls from rabbit owners worried about protecting their pets from the killer virus. Vaccine distributors say they have around 20,000 shots that should be available from tomorrow. In the meantime, vets recommend pet rabbits are kept isolated.
From today on, we'll probably take names and then get back to people when the vaccine's available, and we can give them more information about its use and things like cost and you know, the vaccine course, how many doses they need.
The vaccine should cost around $30. Suppliers say they can get more vaccine from Australia if needed.
Health officials say RCD poses no known danger to people, but if the outbreak becomes widespread, it may affect the amount of rabbit meat available to eat. One rabbit processing company has already stopped work today. Science and Technology reporter David Jameson explains.
Until early this afternoon, Cliff Delaney's rabbit plant was still processing rabbits to eat. Then Agriculture Ministry officials advised him to stop.
In the last 18 months, we've put about $800,000 worth of rabbit meat through, and one could say that if we lose the export certification, then the whole lot's down.
At one of the capital's top restaurants, rabbit...
Mike McRoberts explains.
Ready. Jonah Lomo had his first full training with Carty's Monaco last night, and by his own admission, is well short of match fitness.
You can prepare as much as you want, but you know, just the physical contact itself knocks a lot of the energy out of you. But you know, I'm just glad that I got the first one under my belt.
He worked bloody hard tonight, and it's a real credit to him, you know. But yeah, he certainly lifted the guys. It was fantastic to have him back this week.
Some of Lomo's teammates got more of a lift than they bargained for. And while showing glimpses of his old form, he couldn't contemplate an immediate return to playing. Lomu also needs tests to prove he's clear of the steroid drugs he took while receiving treatment for his kidney disease.
Once I get the all clear and once I feel that I'm up to it, the coaches will be the first ones to know, and my manager as well.
An invitation match involving his club side Weymouth and sponsors Reebok will be his first game back, but the date remains a mystery.
Jonah will wake up one morning and say, Phil, I want to play Saturday, and we'll go from there. But I'm not having other people telling us when he is ready to play, because if he flops, we'll have it all again, that he's a one-hit wonder, that he's over the top.
In that unlikely situation, maybe he could think about American football. Mike McRoberts, Wonderbig News.
Ouch. Well, there might be hope for Lomu and Counties Manukau, but there's none at all for Wallaby coach Greg Smith. Only about an hour ago, he resigned from his job. Smith returned home from South Africa with the Wallabies last night, claiming he should keep his job.
We've won 4 out of 8 and we're 2/3 through the season, and all of a sudden they've got to get rid of me. Well, I don't quite understand that.
But Smith appears to have had the last laugh. Late this afternoon, he handed in his resignation. New Zealand won't be able to field its strongest team at golf's World Cup in November. Michael Long, ranked 86th, and Greg Turner, now at 159, will play in the South Carolina event. But world number 22, Frank Nobilo, and Steve Elker, ranked 122, were unavailable. The Warriors only really delivered in Super League's Telstra Cup this year, but they had one player who really failed, and last night his performances were recognised. David DeSoma has more.
Stacey Jones.
No surprise about the Warriors' player of the season. The dynamic scrum half continued an outstanding season with 2 tries in Sunday's big win over the North Queensland Cowboys.
Really honoured, because I think, there's probably 3 or 4 other guys that probably deserve it as much as me, if not more.
Also celebrating is 4-time New Zealand touring car champion Craig Beard. He's been signed up to drive for the BMW team at Bathurst in October.
I've won 4 touring car championships in New Zealand with BMW, but I'd have to say I'd swap all 4 of those to win Bathurst.
While Beard's hoping Bathurst will reignite his career, Carl Lewis has finished his. The 36-year-old sprint legend, the winner of 9 Olympic gold medals, went out in style at the final Golden 4 meet in Berlin, winning gold in the 4x100 metre relay. Frankie Fredericks was also in that winning team. Earlier in the night, he won the 100 metres, nosing out world record holder Donovan Bailey in 9.99 seconds. The win was especially lucrative for the Namibian, Fredericks earning 1/3 of the 20 kilograms in gold bars on offer for any athlete winning all their races in the Golden 4 series. David DeSoma, One Network News.
From a track and field legend to one sure to become the same in tennis, Martina Hingis made it look all so easy at the US Open today.
She didn't get to #1 by extending sympathy to her opponents, and Martina Hingis wasn't showing any mercy to pregnant Tammy Jones.
How about that? Oh, that was in.
Jones lost the first set in 16 minutes. The second wasn't as quick, but Jones couldn't prevent a premature exit.
Game, same match.
Michael Chang's game was just as straightforward, the #2 seed ousting Swede Patrick Fredriksson. It was slugged the battle of the hoops. Wildcard Steve Campbell wasted no time in unleashing on the 1994 US champion Andre Agassi. But Campbell underestimated the speed of the fuller-figured Agassi.
I saw some good speed there.
The 26-year-old did manage to steal the spotlight, even to Agassi's admiration. And despite losing form recently, Agassi hasn't lost his sense of humour. Campbell's break finally came in the 3rd set, and he knew it.
Dan Campbell.
And there's the break. Andre was not happy with that Steve Campbell move.
Agassi's form deserted him in the 3rd, and he badly blew the chance to take the easy route to round 2.
Well, Agassi missing the jump shot.
Campbell's confidence climbed as the clash continued.
Won't look wide.
But he didn't have the class. Agassi's Grand Slam comeback a winner, and Campbell's Taste and Jewellery a big hit too.
Yes, Agassi had too much in the end and Michael Chang was even more dominant. French Open champion Gustavo Kuerten had to work to survive, while 16th seed Albert Costa was well beaten. The going was all too easy for four of the big names in the women's draw. Martina Hingis dropped just one game against Tammy Jones. She's just too good.
Thank you, Bernie.
Well, after the break, Jim's here with blue skies for most of the country.
Plus, monkeys are all at sea in Japan.
And banana skins offer relief for some skin problems.
Well, tonight on Homes, the farmers think it's marvellous, don't they? A possible end to the rabbits running rampage, their dreams come true. But is there stuff we don't know about RCD? Could it ever affect humans or infect them? We report from Cromwell tonight and we cross to an American expert on the RCD. And Terry Crouch, a country girl with the voice of an angel, she's taking it to the stage in the hit musical Jekyll and Hyde. She's with us tonight on Homes.